Welcome back, friends. Let's continue this app development series with another interesting topic. In fact, it is topics that we will work on in today's video. Here, we will create the UI for the topics create form, then update the topic create action, add some form validation using Zod Library, and then save it in our SQlite database. Finally, we will list all the new topics in the homepage sidebar. So buckle up for this journey. Let's start with a quick recap. Up to now, we have worked on the basic app logic, file structuring, and the header UI with sign-up logic. Have a look on the current layout and working of our forum app, then we will proceed with today's coding. In the first part, we will create a new directory inside the components folder and name it topics. After this, create a new file called topic-create-form.tsx. This will be our main form UI. To show this form, we will add some styling to our homepage. There we need two columns, one for the top post list and another for the right sidebar. In the right sidebar, we have to place a Create New Topic button. When pressed, it will pop a form with the defined layout. So, let's dive in. For now, just export a default function for this topic create form. Simply return a text, write something like Create New Topic. Next, we have place it in the actual home page, so that we can see the placement and restructure accordingly. Next, import the new topic create form in our app homepage. Then clean the main return value. Here, we will plot the actual layout instead of demo content. Therefore, start with a main div element. Make it a grid of 4-column width with appropriate gap. Inside it, create another div with column size span 3. This div tag will hold the top post list. And after this, we will add another div for the sidebar. This right sidebar will display the Create New Topic button along with the current list. So check out the whole process as I code. After completing the structure, simply refresh the app homepage and it will show the desired arrangement of the content. It's good for wireframe, but that's not enough. Actually, we have to write the entire form UI and the logic behind it in order to create and save the topic. So, that's it. Let's create the topic form UI. First of all, make this file a client component by using the use client keyword. Then add imports for button, input, text area, popover, and the necessary trigger and content for the popover element. All of these UI elements are derived from the Next.js package. Apart from these, we also need to import the actions in order to make the form work. Change the return statement with the actual layout. Here, we need a button that will pop a form on click. Therefore, we have to use popover element with trigger and content. These three are available from Next.js import. The button will be the trigger in our case, and the form body will be the popover content. So without wasting more time, let's code it down. I've used the left placement for the form, which is obvious in this case. Then give the button a primary color. Place a form tag to wrap the entire form widget. It is necessary to use a form instead of leaving each input open for separate submission. Therefore, start with a h3 heading tag to denote the form name. In our case, it's create a new topic. Below it, place an input and a text area element. Give both some appropriate label, placeholder text, and name as required to read the submitted form data. Here, you can see the main advantage of using Next.js. The input element we are using provides a very special parameter to detect invalid entry. It also has a dedicated parameter to output the error message if the form input is invalid. If we have used the default Next.js input tag, then we have to add extra logic to filter the inputs and show any errors if generated during form submission. Just like the input tag, Next UI also has the text area element that allows long text inputs. It also has the invalid check parameter. We will use it to save the topic description. In the end, just add a button with type submit. Give it some text, like save or add, whatever you like. That's it. Save this file and the topic create form UI is almost done. Next, we will dive into the logic behind this for submission. But for now, complete the code and test the display. The form looks good. Yes, it can be better. Enough for now. We may update or tweak it later. Next, we have to add the logic to this form, and we have already created the action file for this purpose. First of all, import that and assign it to the form action parameter. Although, the topic create action is there, but we haven't yet written any logic to handle the form submission. Therefore, let's dive into logic with form action. Start with the form data parameter. Set the form data reference to the main function. We'll use it to gather the input field values on submission. First of all, let's use it to get the name and description from the form data. Then store them in separate constants. In this way, we can reuse these values multiple times and save some resources by avoiding multiple input checks. For now, I'll simply use these values to show in console log. Let's test the form. So, here's the actual topic create form. Fill a name and some description and try to submit it. If everything goes as expected, the input values must be shown on the terminal. See, it works. The input value is visible and we managed to read the form data successfully. Now, we have to add some validation to this code and then save it in the database. Before all that, let's update the revalidation rules. Note the to-do remark in our topic create action file. It suggests to revalidate the home page. Revalidation at this point can really help you avoid displaying old contents. We have to revalidate the home page, as it's the only place a user should see the total topic list. We have defined a perfect spot for this in our sidebar. Therefore, use the revalidate path function to update the home page on form submission. Usually, it must revalidate only after actual form submission and database storage. So keep that in mind and put it in the last of all code. After this, install the Zod library from npm package manager. It will help us to validate the form input. We can write custom form validation, but using Zod is much easy, and there's no point in reinventing the wheel. So, if it works, then it's fine for us. Installing Zod may take a few minutes. While we are waiting, let's add the import in the topic create.tsx file. Also, check out the official docs for Zod. It'll help to get a good grasp of the concept of validation. Try to understand the proper way of implementation. Working with Zod is very easy. It only requires a schema that will define the required parameters to filter actual inputs. The Zod schema is responsible for validating the user inputs by comparing it with some predefined checks. I hope you have seen my previous video on Zod. If not, this is the right time for that. There you can learn Zod in great detail. For now, let's focus on our form data. To validate the inputs, we can use the safe parse function provided by Zod. But wait, we could validate our form, but how to inform our users if the input is valid or not? To inform the users, we could use form state. Consider it a set of variables and values that we can pre-feed to our form. Whenever any change occurs, it will inform the UI about the update. The best part is that it will not update the whole page, just the required UI portion, and it can work even without JavaScript enabled. The form state parameter will be the first in call for our action function. So does with the topic create form function. Make sure nothing is written before it, otherwise this may raise some errors. Also set the default return type to a promise of the form state. It will make sure the UI function is ready to receive it whenever any data is available or something changed on validation side. Once done, start adding the validation check using SafeParse and Zod Schema. It's easy. Only provide the input values as comma-separated parameter to the SafeParse function. Make sure to save the result in a constant for further checks. Now, place an if check to make sure that if the result failed to validate, then some appropriate message is sent back to the form. We have to inform our users in an easy readable way. That's why I'll return the simple error message back to our form on failed validation. The SafeParse function provides a dedicated error report that we can use to show the output. Although it's better to filter unnecessary text and return only that much that any user can understand, that's why I'm only returning the field errors. After this, use the user session to validate if user is logged in and a valid logged user is trying to submit a new topic. This is very important to avoid spam anonymous entries in our database. Here also, we have to return appropriate error message to our users, informing them that they must be logged in for this operation. All these simple checks and validation rules makes our forum app robust and better for user experience. Improper form validation have led to huge data breaches previously. That's why I always suggest to pay attention in this part and give a multiple try and test before publishing your final app. For our app, the validation part is almost done. Next, we have to save these validated form data in our database. So, let's dive into the database updation part. Start by placing a try-catch block. It's an essential part of error handling. Now, I will import the DB file and use it to save the form data, as we have already validated the form inputs. I'll use the create topic function available with the database schema. Remember Prisma details. If not, check out that video. It only requires a data set with the name and description. Set it as I did and save everything. In the catch part, we will look out for all those unknown errors. Then filter out these errors for appropriate error response. Like if it's an instance of something known, then return the error message. Else let the users know that something is wrong. These error messages will keep your app safe by avoiding unnecessary data disclosure. Once done, you could save the file and move on to the topic create form. But wait, we haven't yet defined any action related to this form submission. I mean, whenever a user saves a new topic, he should be redirected to the show topic page. That's why, add the redirect function call in the very end of this function. Yes, place it after revalidating your home path. Remember, the redirect function cannot be used inside try-catch block, and nothing will be run once the redirect is called, so keep it in the last place. Save the createTopic.tsx file and move on to the form file. There, we have to add the form state, and to use form state, we have to make this file a client component. So, start by adding the useClient keyword on top of this file if you haven't done yet. Then import useFormState from React DOM and continue with the basic logic. Here, we only have to define the action and the default form state. So the action is already available, and make sure the default state has blank error records. In this way, whenever the form changes its state, the error message will be updated and it will change the UI accordingly. Now to show the actual response, we have to mark the fields as triggers. In simple words, these fields must check the validation and ask to update the form state. Don't worry, it's way easier than it sounds. As I have mentioned earlier, there's an isInvalid parameter available for all input in Next.UI. We will use it to trigger the form state change, then show the error message using the invalid message parameter. So, without wasting any more of your precious time, let's dive in. Here, change the action name as we can now use the form state with proper validation. Then add the isInvalid property. It requires a Boolean value. You may think, how can we make sure that form state error are not empty as we have defined the default as blank? Your query is right, it's a tricky part, but there's a really simple solution to this problem. I'll use double negation or logical not symbol to make sure the Boolean value is correct for comparison. In this way, if there is no data, the checkmark will be false and no message is displayed, and when we have some error, it will turn this checkpoint to true. Neat, isn't it? Similarly, place the same check to the description text area. Also set the message part with the same error message appropriately for both inputs. In the end, save the file and let's update some parts of the home page UI in order to display the saved topics. Still, we don't have any way to show the topic list. We need that ASAP. First of all, add a divider to separate the button from the topics list. Then add a header to show the text topics. After this, we will add a component that can display all the available topics. So, let's build that topic list component together. Start by creating a new topic list.tsx file inside the topic component directory. Import the link, chip, DB, and path files inside this new topic list file. We have already used these multiple times, so no need to discuss all that once again. Just the chip is a new UI addition here. It's just a neat way to show individual content block. See my code and you'll understand. Name the default export function appropriately. The topic list name is pretty easy to understand here. Inside it, call the db topic function to find all the entries we have. Store it in a constant and use the map function to iterate each individual entries. We have to return a formatted UI for each individual entry in the topic list. In this way, we could make them clickable and redirect the user to specific topic pages. So, start with a div tag. Give it a key of topic ID. Inside it, place a link tag with ref property of show topic page using the topic slug. Then we will place the chip inside this link to create the actual display. Use warning color and shadow variant for a warm look. Save this file and return this entire list wrapped with a well-formatted flex div element. I think that enough for the topic list display. Now, only thing left is to add it in our home page UI. So import the topic list component and place it just below the topics heading. So, that's it for the code work. Now it's time to test the form entry. Let's try to save a new topic and see if it works or not. I think it's working well, isn't it? What's your thought about it? The first run may take a few extra moments, but don't worry, we are seeing this app in developer mode, hence the delay. It will not happen in final production build. See, our app is working well and the UI looks good as expected. Slowly the form app is taking its shape. Suggest and comment, what should we build next? We'll design and build the one with highest vote and response. Don't forget to comment your thoughts. Okay, it's fine and working well, but unfortunately, we have missed one important check. Note that we have not yet placed any output for the default form errors. So, let's add it just above the form button. The process is simple. First, put a check for the availability of the form error in our state. If it's available, then show the message using appropriate UI tags, else return a null and nothing will be shown. Look at this checkpoint in our Create Topic schema. I missed a simple dash and it is causing the validation issue. Now, everything is fixed and the validation must work properly. Let's give it a try. Finally, let's extract our form button into a separate reusable component. In this way, we can use it wherever we want. Also, we will add a loading spinner in the button to indicate something is going on behind the scene. It's a bonus part, so I expect you to like and subscribe my channel. I think if you have watched so far, then there must be something good about it. And don't forget to hit the bell icon. Now, back to the button part. Create a new file called form button. It will have use client keyword on top. Set a default function with an interface that expect a children to be provided. This children will be of type React Node. Use the button import from Next.js and import the use form status from React DOM. The use form status provides the status of the form flow. It will let us know if the requested job is pending or it's done. We can use the response to show the loading spinner. It will improve our UI. First of all, extract the pending status from the form status call and store it accordingly. It will provide us with a Boolean value, which can be used to check the loading status of the button. Then simply return a button with type submit and set the isLoading property to the pending value. Set the received children as its output value. In this way, if the pending variable is true, then we will see the loading spinner, else nothing is shown. Now, let's test the app and wrap up today's video. Extracting this button can save at least 10 lines of code in each of our forms. And trust me, soon we have to make quite a few of those. Wrapping up, today we create a new topic form, then updated the respective topic create action. Add some validation to our form, and then save it to the database. We have also created the UI to show the topic list in the sidebar of our home page. In the next video, we will update the show topic page and move on to the post-creation part. Give this video a thumbs up. See you soon with the next video. Till then, keep coding and keep learning. Enjoy your day. Thanks for watching TechnoSpace.